So let me guess, you worked all day, handled a bunch of stuff, put out a ton of fires, but then you got home and you feel like you didn't move the needle at all in your business. A lot of business owners suffer from the same exact thing, and that's because there's a huge difference in being productive and being busy. And unfortunately, we kind of live in a world today, especially with social media, where as long as you're staying busy, it's kind of viewed as a good thing. But the reality is you could spend years being busy within your business and not see any growth. So the good news is you're not really lacking time, right? We all have the same 24 hours in a day. You're just spending time on the wrong activities. So what's happening right now is you're being reactive with your day, right? You have constant interruptions, small tasks. You know what you're doing in terms of client delivery, but outside of that, it's just kind of whatever little fires come in, that's what you're handling, that's what you're dealing with that day. How many times have you woken up not really sure what you were going to do that day, but then it's 7 o'clock at night and you're still working because all these little fires, these little things just continue to come at you all day, making you feel busy. But again, like we talked about, you're not necessarily being productive. And it's leaving you without any time for dedicated growth to the business. It's cliche, but I'll say it again. You're spending all your time working in the business and not on the business. But the good news is there's a pretty simple fix to overcome this. There's 2 things that we need to work on. First is clarity over the task that you're doing, and second is control over your schedule. So let's talk about clarity. You'd probably be surprised at how many tasks you're doing in your business that aren't necessarily high value tasks. I want you to pretend that every single thing that you do throughout the day is either a low value task or a high value task. If you were to go and track that throughout your day, do you think you're spending more time doing high value tasks, things that are driving the business forward, things that are generating revenue for the business? Or are you doing low value tasks, things that could be easily delegated, outsourced, hired out, or even not done at all? If you track this for a couple days, you'd probably be pretty shocked at how many low value tasks are just eating up your time. And it might not feel like it's taking that much time, but think about how many stops in your day you're taking to handle some of these low value tasks. Let's take answering the phone, for example. A phone call might not seem like it's taking that much time out of your day, but if you're answering every single call, even if each call is just a couple of minutes, think about that not only adding up throughout the day, but also think about that stopping you from doing the current task you were doing. You're mentally having to switch gears, then you've got to remember, what was I doing? Where was I at in this task? And you can't stay in the flow of things. So even if you're only spending an hour or 2 a day on the phone, it's actually taking a lot more time than that out of your day. You're actually being a lot less productive with your time than that number shows. Your goal as a business owner should be to spend as much time as possible on the sales and marketing. These are those high value tasks that are going to drive business forward. The more you can delegate those lower value tasks, customer service, anything client delivery, the more time you'll have to spend on these higher value tasks. Which brings me to the second point, and that's having control over your time. My favorite way to do this is with time blocking. Instead of being reactive and putting out fires like we talked about earlier, you should start every day and every week with a plan. Having specific time blocks throughout the day for different activities helps you stay accountable to doing those activities during that time. In order to do this, you have to use a calendar, whether you're using a paper calendar, spreadsheet, or something like Google Calendar, whatever you're using right now, use that to implement time blocking. And treat these blocks of time with just as much respect as you would treat a block of time with a client. I know that if you were tired, you wouldn't skip out on meeting with a client. And if your day got super busy, you wouldn't just not respond to a client who needed you to come out. So it should be the same with your marketing and your sales efforts. Just because you had a busy day doesn't mean you shouldn't be posting on social media, doing some networking, doing some outreach, whatever it is, whatever marketing tasks you're doing within your business, they should hold the same level of urgency as all of your operational based tasks. I know that can be kind of a hard concept for people to understand because there's this myth around business that we need to do everything in the business, which primarily feels like the client delivery, being a technician, servicing your client, whatever that entails in your business. But in reality, you're holding your business back if you're spending most of your time doing that. And time blocking is the perfect strategy to hold yourself accountable for these other tasks. Remember, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So don't use the excuse that you're too busy. What would happen if you started your day an hour later and had a marketing block in the morning? Or maybe your lunch block every day was for sales. Maybe you cut your day off every day, no matter what, at 5 o'clock to come home and work on some SOPs in the office for 30 minutes. Whatever it is, time blocking allows you to not make excuses for yourself and make things happen. Implement these 2 strategies and I promise you, you'll feel like you've doubled the amount of time you have every day. And not only that, you'll feel less busy, less stress, and you'll start to see your business grow more.